I'm live. Hello, everyone. How lovely to see you all. It's been a crazy couple of days. Peter and Karen, who were the first people to log in and say hello, so well done. You got some nice venison and walnut terrine from Beechworth and mushroom quiche. Lovely, delicious. Welcome back to Queensland. I'm very pleased to see that David and Fiona have made the hot pot. Well done. And Shell and Andrew have gone Italian. Well done. Hello, Sue and Daryl. Hello, Polly. I've just got back from being out in the trade for 2 days, so Polly's being a little bit clingy. Paul? There we go. Good girl. Say hello to everyone. Shell and Andrew have got pizza. What else? A few of you not here tonight. I think maybe people with 10 of you. That's okay. It's good. Sue and Jeff, hello. Mi Furry Nabe. Sounds good, doesn't it? I look forward to hearing how it tastes. I will be making it very soon. I just did not get a chance to do any cooking in the last couple of days, and that was very silly of me to think I was... Mushroom pasta with Rita with mushroom dip fassada on a baguette. Good work. Thanks, Shell. This is my favourite scarf in the world. I bought it in Singapore, and it's really fine and it's really soft. I don't know if it's a proper, what are they called? Pashmina? I don't know if it's real pashmina, but it's the closest that I get to it. Connie and John are there. Hello, no hot pot. Beetroot risotto with grilled radicchio and pancetta. Yum! Fiona purchased the pork pre-sliced from the freezer section of the Asian grocer. Good work, young lady. Polly's back in her hot spot. There she is. There you go, Polly. People can look at you and me. Thank you, Peter and Karen. I do like a splash of poppy red. Alrighty. I've been talking for 2 days non-stop, so I have to pardon my croaky voice to start with. Kay, waiting for your mushroom breaded crepes. Yay! Is someone making them for you, Kay, or are they being delivered? Awesome. Anyway, Robinson Vineyard Pinot Noir 2014. We nearly had a disaster this morning. Luckily, I checked that it was in the wine fridge where I'd left it a couple of weeks ago on the shelf that says Kate's wines do not drink, because it wasn't there. Funnily enough, Jill said, I think Richard poured that for me the other day. It was delicious. So I said, Dad, can you make another one of those appear on my shelf that you're not allowed to drink, please, before tonight? And it was there when I got back from my running around. Kay's made them. Terry's front. Good on you, Terry. Bit of teamwork. Love your work. All right. So I have my bottle of wine. There's 3 glasses over there, but Peter's busy making mushroom bruschetta for me, which is very, very kind. He knows I've been running around like a headless chook. And I don't know where Jill and Richard are. Jill was feeding the dogs, but Polly's come in here now, and Tallulah's here as well. So that's already done, and Pete's off doing things. Pork money bags at the Goodman household. How fantastic. Yum. Hello, Craig and Karen and Joan and anybody else who's there. Hello, Loans. Chicken and mushroom phyllo in the oven. Good work. Nareem and Jean in the house with the 2015 rather than 2014. Did we put the wrong wine in the box, or you just got them mixed up, Nareem? Let me know if we stuffed it up, please. Everyone else has got 2014, I hope? Or have I got my vintage wrong? Please correct me if I've got myself confused. I seem to be having trouble multitasking at the moment. I probably should never go on holidays again, because I obviously relax too much and then I let go of the strings and everything flies away in my brain. 2014, excellent, Kay, thank you. All right, so I've been out and about showing off the 2023s up in Melbourne yesterday and down on the Mornington Peninsula today, which was lots of fun. Good, thank you. Thanks, Rita. I think I'm right with the 2014, which is a relief. We have some wine in the glass now. I can smell it already. So last night after my day in the trade, I went to the Prince Wine Store to do some educator training to make sure that I was teaching WSET correctly, which is good because I do sometimes go a little bit off topic, as some of you might know. Jeff and, fantastic. Jeff and Sue are having a mushroom lasagna. Good work. So one of the things that I was reminded about in the teacher training is how you can distinguish whether it's whether the wine has low, medium or high intensity for level 2 students. And if you hold it out here and you can smell it, it's a wine of high intensity on the nose, and I can smell the wine out here. So I don't think Pinot Noir is generally supposed to be high intensity, but this wine has got so much perfume, it's coming at me in waves. Yum, very earthy. Sonia, osso bucco with some dehydrated foraged pine mushrooms in the oven. Yum, that will be delicious. Now you've just got to make sure you don't drink all of the wine before you get to the food. So always getting the timing right is such a stress. Linda can't go past the duck. You mean the duck? Don't, Peter and Karen, thank you. That joke's not going to get old anytime soon, is it? All right, so nice deep colour. I think 2014 was quite a small vintage, so that it was quite concentrated in its colour and fruit aroma, and we've already talked about the fact that the smell's kind of wafting off the glass very quickly. Linda, I still don't know why you're talking about ducks. We're drinking Robinson tonight. Or are you eating duck with your Robinson Pinot Noir 14? It's too useful to throw away. Indeed, Sonia. Why would you throw away your dehydrator unless you are guilty? Shell has to tell me that you had a Garagiste Le Stagiaire Pinot Noir last night and it tasted like jujubes. Yum. Excellent. Yum. Excellent. Excellent. Sonia put a little bit of the 2014 in the pot. Well done. Coddy, what's Coddy saying? Forest floor on the nose, Morello cherries in the mouth. Thank you, Peter. Haven't put it in my mouth yet, but definitely forest floor on the nose. Now, for anyone who's saying, what do they mean by forest floor? I think it's worth reviewing that as a concept. There you go, Richard. I told tales on you, Dad, and told them that you drunk my previous bottle, but thank you for replacing it in time for drinks with Kate. Hey? Oh, yes, well, except for me. I wasn't here. Exactly. Linda's at number 2 crown. Yes, well done. So now I'm getting mushrooms wafting off the plate as well as out of the glass. But when we talk about forest floor as an aroma profile, think about walking through preferably a European forest where the leaves in autumn, where the leaves have fallen off the trees, they've gone brown, they're all crunchy on the ground. You walk through the leaves, you get that crunchy dried leaf smell coming up, sort of savoury, dried out, evolving as a smell. The soil underneath the leaves will be slightly damp and it will have some mossy smells, as well as having that beautiful rotting leaf. It sounds gross, but the smell of rotting leaves and things becoming soil is pretty awesome. There will probably be in your forest floor maybe some perfumed violets, which gives it a little bit of lift. There might be the occasional wild raspberry or strawberry in the forest as well, that you can smell a little bit of red fruit, but it's starting to dry out a little bit. Forest floor. Think about walking through a forest and in the cool shade of the trees that have dropped most of their leaves, maybe a little bit of autumn sun sparkling through the branches, and then you take a sniff of the air and it's clean and it's cool and it's got all those leafy, earthy characters as well. Beautiful. Also mushrooms, because in a forest on the floor you will find mushrooms, particularly in autumn. So as I said, I've got mushrooms that Pete's just brought me. Look at that. I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to eat them with my fingers, but I'm jolly well going to give it a go. Just a fork would be awesome, Pete. Thanks, in case I get into trouble. David, behave yourself. It's a bit early for that. Kay is getting sage and red currant on the palate. I better put it in my mouth. Thanks, Pete. So it's really red fruited, red cherries, morello cherries. As Cotty said, I agree. Red currant, red cherries, as Kay mentioned. I get that raspberry strawberry character on the palate as well. And yes, those herbal notes, chopped sage, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of rosemary. It's just in a really lovely place. Stewed cherries, Jeff or Sue are saying. Yep. It's got the freshness. I think the Morello cherries is a good one because I don't know what they do to Morello cherries, but it gives them this slightly kind of marzipan-y kind of aroma. I think maybe they're soaked in some sort of alcohol. But Morello cherries are a type of cherry as well, and they're a red sour cherry. So before they get processed, they're quite sour, and then you put them in the booze and they get this kind of marzipan-y note to them. Fiona's getting some rose petal as well. Me too. Rose petal and violet, I think, on the nose and on the palate. So David has decreed that the Pinot with the pork nabe is a wonderful food match. Good. I'm so glad, David. I thought it would be. And as I said, I'm going to try and make that pork nabe very soon. I'm a bit sad that I overcommitted myself this week, but I'm very glad that I got back in time. I said to Hannah, who I was out with today, I said, you can have me all day from as early in the morning as you like, but I have to be back at Moorooduc by 5 o'clock because I have to send out an email to my Drinks with Kate people, do the link, send it all out, get myself organised, take a deep breath. And she said, well, I can get you back by 5:30. And I said, well, if it's later than 5:30, then there's going to be hell to pay. So she got me back here at 5:29, which is when I sent you your email. So I'm sorry if it was a bit late tonight, but we did a lot of miles. We were down to, where did we go? We went to Hotel Sorrento, which was awesome. I think we're going to have to do a wine dinner there. We also went to Captain Jack's in Somerville. We went to the National Golf Course. Anyone out there a member of the National Golf Course? It's got a really good view from the window of the clubhouse. It's rather awesome. Anyway, it's my first visit there. Back to the wine and the food. Fiona is saying it's quite a delicate dish. Just a hint of ginger here and there, I think, works with the floral notes. I thought it would be delicate. I thought it would be delicious with this wine because this wine is, despite the fact that it's got a beautiful perfume to it, it's still quite a delicate wine, quite an elegant wine. And I think that it's not really going to cope with really strong flavours. So if anyone made the other hot pot that I sent out, the sesame one, that might have been a little bit too strong for it. But I thought that would be quite nice. All right, I might get it when I make it. I'll see if I can get Pete to help me make it. We'll cut and pack the Wombok and pork together. But it sounds pretty. Do you up for that, Pete? One of these days? Yes, he says yes. The smell is gorgeous, and I'm definitely getting pink and red rose petals in there as well. I'm getting almost, those little Haribo strawberry lollies with the sherbety strawberry sugar on the outside. I think it smells a little bit like that, but not too much, not too lolly, just a little bit. Shell, I'd be interested to know, when you were saying that Barney's Stagiaire Pinot Noir smelled like jujubes, was it very juby, or was that just one of the characters? Because that he might have done a little bit of whole bunch. There might have been some carbonic maceration, and that tends to give you a sort of juby lolly shop kind of a smell. So that could be why. I'm going to have some mushroom now. I'll throw it at myself. Tallulah, that bit of mushroom is for you. She's like, I don't eat food off the floor. What do you call me, a dog or something? Peter picked me some pine mushrooms from down under our pines. And I just got a little bit of pine mushroom. It's beautifully cooked. Thank you, Pete. Lots of garlic. Nice and crunchy, nutty and mushroomy. Delicious with the wine. I think this wine would work really well with kind of hazelnuts in dishes as well, or maybe even chestnuts. It feels to me to be quite a nutty nutty, savoury, mushroomy kind of a wine. Craig has asked, would you say this is at the peak of its powers? Craig, I think the wine could continue to age, but I'm not sure if I will enjoy it as much with a lot more age. I'm not sure. I mean, we've had wines with much more age on them from the Robinson vineyard. I think that this, because 14 was a bit of a, was 14 difficult with Pinot as well, Dan? I know that the Chardonnay was a very small crop and we had a bit of difficulty with it. Yeah, small crop across the board. So I think that concentrated fruit kind of brings it forward. The 2010 Robinson, absolutely, David, is looking delicious, but much more tertiary, much more savoury, much more forest floor, less fruit. Whereas I think the lovely thing about this wine right now is that it's got that juicy fruit and freshness, and it's also got some tertiary savouriness going on. So it's that nice balance between young and old, and it's sort of, I would call it sort of in the middle of its aging process. Some people who like Pinot with less fruit, more savouriness, will probably hold on to some bottles of 2014 for a bit longer. I don't think it's going to fall in a heap anytime, Craig, but I'm not sure if it's going to improve hugely with more age. It might just kind of hold and kind of settle and evolve. Rita is saying that the umami flavour of the mushroom cultured dip, yum, pairs very well with the Pinot. I bet. I think mushroom is, as I said on the email on Tuesday, mushroom's a good match to this. There is a bruschetta there, but I'm scared if I pick it up, then I'm going to end up with mushroom everywhere and a mouthful of crunchy bread. So I'm going to save that until later when the toast is yummy. Pete did it on the grill. No putting it in the toaster for him. Fantastic. Okay, Shell is coming back to us on Barney's Pinot and Jujubes. These ones have a rich caramel flavour and lolly shop smell. I had the Jujubes on me when drinking the wine. I was blown away that the taste smell was so similar. Oh, how interesting. When you say Jujubes, I'm not sure if we're thinking about the same thing. I was thinking maybe like a raspberry tube or wine tube kind of a thing. But when you say that your Jujubes have a rich caramelly smell, flavour, that's very interesting. I will have to find out more about these Jujubes at some stage. Chinese red dates. Thank you, Shell. Of course, not lollies at all. Cool. Okay, I need to taste Chinese red dates again, Jujubes again. I'm still learning about Chinese flavours, and I think that's a really interesting one. I've had it in, what's it called, like 12 treasure duck, that they stuff it with all sorts of things, including Jujubes, and I've had Jujubes in tea as well, which was pretty awesome. But I'd forgotten about them completely. Thank you for reminding me. Fiona, we also have some leftover chicken and mushroom pot stickers that you made and forgot about in the freezer. Yum. I think this wine's at a really nice place in its evolution. It's not too old. Jujube tea is great for sleep. Yes, I remember a long time ago I bought some from some crazy Chinese grocers and thought it was interesting. I'm not sure how well it helped me go to sleep. I thought they were quite yummy, but then I forgot about them again after I finished the packet and didn't go back for more. I'll have to try them again. Yum. Pine mushrooms particularly are awesome. And I think the pine mushroom season was really late this year because we had such a hot, dry autumn that we've still got some coming up under the trees, hoping they're pine mushrooms. If I'm not here next week, Pete's 90% sure. So if I'm not here next week, you'll know what's happened. Anyway, it's been nice knowing you. Kay finds gin makes her sleep. Excellent. Sonia bought some Jujubes this week for the first time. It's amazing you all know about them. I know, Sonia, this is a very wise group of people. Fiona, gets too cold near me for winter pine mushrooms. Yeah, well, where our pine trees are, Peter actually seeded it with pine mushroom bits a few years ago, and we've been getting more and more coming up every year. So I'm pretty confident that they're pine mushrooms. Taste like pine mushrooms as well. Yeah, it's in a really sheltered bit of down at the bottom of the vineyard near the dam, and they seem to go almost all winter, which is nice. Jujube trade deal with China. It was in the AFR, really? Oh, fantastic. I have to have some of this special toast that Peter made me, but it feels like it's going to be really crunchy. So just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. It is very crunchy. It is very good. So I think Shell's mention of jujubes and Chinese cuisine, and the fact that we've been having a play with Japanese cuisine with this last box on and off, just perfect on its own. The wine, Jack and Zach, I agree. It's lovely having some food with it, but I was quite happy to just have a glass of it on its own. Kay is now having crepes with Ballycroft plum sauce. Working a treat with this one, I bet. Is that the crepe recipe that I sent you a couple of years ago, Kay? If it is, that was good, and I think we need to do them again. They're yummy. Those Hungarian crumbed mushroom crepes. Craig says that Shell needs to be the Jujube special envoy. Envoy en français, envoy in English. They've been saying envoy on the ABC. No, but the ABC's been saying envoy, and I'm like, isn't it envoy when you're speaking English? I'm very confused. Anyway, I was going to say that one of the things that we've sort of touched on but maybe haven't kind of delved into is the fact that these wines, particularly the Pinots, are really great with Asian food flavours generally. You need to find the right Asian food, obviously. And when I say Asian food, I don't mean, I'm not kind of, that's a bit too broad, but Chinese cuisine there are a lot of different Chinese cuisines across China. It's a big place. But Chinese hot pots, Japanese hot pots, even sort of a Szechuan style hot pot, as long as it's not too crazy chili, can work really well with our Pinots. And I've tried these things a number of times, and it's one of those things that I think that, we don't sell our wine to China because we don't make enough of it, and I don't have enough time to spend enough time there to kind of hand it over in a way that I'm happy to do. So, but I think that nuclear, thank you, David. We could go on with all our pronunciation issues all night if we wanted to. It could be grumpy. Sonia didn't know if I should buy small or large for the American Test Kitchen oxtail recipe. Oh, for your ossobuco. So the small ossobuco will be a little bit more tender and a bit sweeter, and need to cook for less time. The larger ossobuco is usually from a bigger animal and will be a bit meatier, a bit gamier, take longer to cook. That's all. So the small or the large jujubes. I don't know the answer to that. You'll have to ask Shell. She's the expert on jujubes. I'm so confused. Hang on. So American Test. So you're making, that must be a bit of a Chinese oxtail recipe then, Sonia. You've gone down the sort of Chinese hot pot. Yeah, maybe. David's Chinese restaurant in Paran used to do a great however many treasures duck, which was stuffed with all the things, including jujubes. That's where I had it. It was pretty awesome. Dad and I did a wine dinner there about 50 years ago. Do you remember, Dad? at David's? Yeah, he remembers. It wasn't 50 years ago, but it was quite a long time ago. But when I've got my bit of toast that I'm about to nibble on again. I have a mushroom instead. A bit sniffy after all of this running around. Chinese food. Where was I going with that? Yes, Chinese food, wine dinners, Hotel Sorrento. Watch this space. I had a really good meeting with the team at Hotel Sorrento today. They've developed downstairs as a sort of Chinese kind of den of iniquity where we could do a really nice little wine dinner, which would be very fun. The chef came and tasted the wines along with all the rest of the team, and she was really enthusiastic about it. So, as I say, watch this space. They're also talking about maybe pouring one of the Chardonnays or the Pinot Noir, or possibly, no, not the Conti, David. So the Continental is on that corner, and then Hotel Sorrento is just around the corner and overlooking the sea. It's a little bit round the corner. The Cavern downstairs, Zach and Jack, yeah, absolutely. So they've turned it into like a Chinese restaurant. I think it would be a wonderful place to do an event. Hotel Sorrento's famous. There was a play written about it that I actually happened to be taught by the playwright. No, it wasn't the playwright. The playwright was, when I did drama and theatre studies at Monash University in the 1990s, the head of the English and drama department had been the person who made the film of the play of Hotel Sorrento. There you go. You're welcome. I think, or maybe he wrote it. I can't remember. Anyway, but Hotel Sorrento is a lovely old hotel that's had a few iterations, but they're doing some really nice. The people who own it now are spending lots and lots of money. YouTube won't let you post links, Shell. What link are you trying to post now, Shell? They used to have a TAB downstairs. Now it looks like a beautiful, it's a beautiful Chinese restaurant, and it's really cool. It's like a real kind of nightclub grotto kind of a feel, sort of dark and bit of, they've got a bit of kind of moody lighting and stuff. It looks really fun. So as I say, watch this space. Front bar beach bench is awesome view of the bay. Zach and Jack have said, absolutely. It won't be in summer, David. Don't worry. I don't go to Sorrento in January. It's opposite the ferry terminal. That's right, Fiona, up the hill. Sonia, it's a Hawaiian recipe, but has ginger and soy. Excellent. And Craig is saying, I think your Pinots in particular go well with Asian food. The Pinot savoury notes pick up on spice. Not many Pinots are as savoury. Is the savoury flavour something you shoot for, or does it just happen? Bit of both, Craig. I think the fact that it's really easy to make fruity wine in this country, and it's easy to make simple fruity Pinot Noir. Well, it's not easy, but it's easier. We have, over the years, adopted wild yeasts, particularly because they give us a bit more savouriness. And we handle, I think this wine's got, I think our Pinots have a lovely core of fruit to them, but then they've got the savoury kind of layers on the outside, which make it much better, make them better food wines than they would be without those savoury flavours. And I think those savoury herbal and spice notes partly come from the site, partly come from the age of the vine, but also with the winemaking technique that is a bit hands-off. Wild yeast ferments. We give the wine time to kind of breathe and do its thing. So, and also having that pre and post fermentation maceration, as well as plunging the cap during ferment twice a day. All these things bring savouriness and texture and lose a bit of fruitiness from the wine, which we think is quite good. Okay, we're having a discussion about Hotel Sorrento on the chat. Peter or Karen went to school with Joanna. Hotel Sorrento is a play. Yes, thank you, Kay. Written by Hanny Rayson, that first performed in 1990. Yes, my drama English teacher was, I'm sure he made the film of the play. He was the director. Plunging the cat. No, Sonia, the cap. So plunging the cat. Meow. So, okay, good question and easy to miss here, that for sure. So the fermenters that we ferment Pinot Noir in are stainless steel open vat fermenters. So they're like big buckets, 2-ton buckets. And we destem the fruit into the fermenter and then we leave it until it starts fermenting. So there's juice and there's skins and pips in there and whole berries. As the wine starts fermenting, it creates carbon dioxide, which pushes the skins and the pips, the solids, up to the top, and they form what we call the cap, which if you don't move that around, that sits on top of the wine, it can get moldy. It's not touching the juice in the way that we want it to extract the flavours and the tannins and the colour from the skins into the wine. So we get up on top of the fermenter and we push it down. So we plunge it down with a plunging implement, which pushes the cap down under the wine. It's rather dramatic when it starts because there's all this activity going on underneath the cap of dried grape skins. You get this lovely frothing pink upsurge coming up through the hole that you make in it because there's pressure underneath it, which is what's pushing the cap up, and all the bubbles come up and in this sort of beautiful coloured whoosh, and the smell as well. So you can smell how the wine is looking as it's fermenting. So it's a really nice way to check on the wine a couple of times a day while it's fermenting, but it also mixes those skins back down into the juice and allows the juice then to extract colour and flavour and tannin from the skins in the same way that you might put a tea bag in a cup of boiling hot water and jiggle it to get the water running through the bits to get more colour, but also flavour and tannin into your tea. Follow-up question from Sonia: how important is wine colour to you all? Wine colour is a nice indicator of quality, but particularly with Pinot Noir, depth of colour as well as shade of colour can be very varied, and there's a really dreadful old French quote that Peter is saying over in the corner that I don't endorse the words, but I endorse the sentiment. And a French winemaker said to me or Dad or someone that I know once upon a time, colour in Pinot Noir is like clothes on a beautiful woman. It's a very sexist, old-fashioned comment, but basically what he's saying is it's unimportant. It's not going to tell you very much about the quality of what's underneath, but if it's good, then it sometimes makes it even better. I hope that makes sense. So, Craig, this wine is getting so good in the glass. Might be one to come back to in an hour, as if there will be any left indeed, Craig. It is opening up really beautifully in the glass as well. David and Fiona and Kay and people have been talking about parking in Sorrento, which is hilarious in summer. That's why I don't go. So it's about the undies. David wants to know. Okay, David, thank you. It just means that something beautiful doesn't need any adornment, but something beautiful that's well adorned can be even more beautiful. So good colour is good, but not good colour doesn't mean that it's not good wine. I think that's what it means, David. It's not really about the undies. Because undies are also clothes, by the way. Can I say it in French? Le couleur de Pinot Noir est aussi important que les vêtements sur une jolie femme. There you go. Something like that. Oh, it's yummy wine, isn't it? Nice and juicy. What cheese would I recommend with this beauty? Thank you, Shell. Rita, I would recommend what I always recommend with Pinot Noir. I think this would be beautiful with a Manchego or Osso Arati. No, Fiona, Comte for Chardonnay. Comte and Gruyere, I think, are both beautiful cheeses. They go okay with Pinot Noir, so it's not a definite no, but they're even better with good Chardonnay. Whereas I think Comte and Gruyere are both hard cheeses made from cow's milk that have been that's been cooked ahead of making the cheese, so you get a bit of a caramelized flavour, which brings out the nutty caramelized notes of aged Chardonnay, which I think is delicious. The cheeses that I like with Pinot Noir are either semi-hard sheep's milk cheese, so that's where we go when I'm talking about Manchego or Osso Arati. Osso Arati is less well known in this country. It's a Pinot and cheese match that I discovered in France. And in France, they traditionally will serve Osso Arati with a spoonful of wild cherry jam with a young Burgundy, and it's just exquisite. Comte in the house. Absolutely, Peter. Is it? Thank you. I didn't get it. I don't think anyone who got Peter's reference can give him a little clap. But also with a Pinot Noir like this, Rita, you could serve a really nice ripe brie-like cheese, so a soft cheese with a white rind on the outside. Particularly one, the Dauphin double cream or triple cream cheese is pretty good with Pinot if it's nice and ripe, or a brie or a camembert. But they need to be ripe. They need to be really oozy and a bit funky in the centre. When they age, a lot of those white rind cheeses give off a bit of ammonia from the centre, and that actually, just a little bit of ammonia in your kind of creamy cheese aroma and flavour. Délice de Bourgogne. Yes, thank you, Fiona. That's what I was trying to say. And I think you just about got the spelling right, but you've got one too many N's in there. Bourgogne, G, no N before the second G. Undies are clothes, David. Absolutely. Good work. Undies are clothes, but they go underneath other clothes because we wear layers of clothes, David. Fiona, can you talk to him, please? Behave yourself, young man. So oozy white rind cheese or semi-hard sheep's milk cheese, fantastic with this Pinot. It's also very good with a salty marinated feta style, either sheep's milk or goat's milk or cow's milk. But one of those, like the Meredith, the soft one in oil that's got herbs and stuff, quite nice with a Pinot Noir. The only cheese that I think is really dreadful with Pinot Noir, is the blue cheese, because the blue mould, which is lovely with a vintage port or a Sauterne or, Botrytis sweet wine, works very, very well with a Meredith and pine mushroom and pizza. Yum. Yes, absolutely, Fiona. Perfect with Pinot. Delicious. What was I saying? Blue cheese. The flavour of the mould makes Pinot Noir taste really bitter and metallic. So avoid that at all costs. And funnily enough, when you go to places that do like a cheese plate and they give you 3 different cheeses, they always give you like a hard cheese, like a cheddar or a Gruyere or a Comte. They'll give you something oozy, brie-like, or Délice de Bourgogne or something like that. And they'll always give you some blue cheese. I'm like, I love blue cheese, but I don't like it with any wine except for, I do like blue cheese, Fiona. I wouldn't say that blue is bad but it's very bad with Pinot Noir. If you want to have a really good blue cheese experience, have it with Sauterne or have it with a moderately aged vintage port. It's delicious. The really traditional match is Stilton, so very famous English blue cheese with vintage port, and you can kind of pour the port over the cheese, or just drink the port and eat the cheese on water crackers. Thank you. Cars water crackers, preferably. Very nice. Okay. Oh, good, Fiona. I love blue too. But before or after you drink most non-sweet wines, for sure. Kate didn't like blue until you were a partner in a cafe and you had Tarago Valley distributor. And Shadows of Blue is delicious. Also dreadful with Pinot Noir. Shadows of Blue works quite well with a kind of Shadows of Blue works okay with an aged Pinot Gris because it's a very gentle blue and it's a very creamy blue. But try it with a sweet wine. You will thank me for that recommendation. It's delicious. You can also drink fortified wines like David, PX, which I didn't manage to have any of at the Snow last week. We didn't have any PX in the Snow last week. That was really poor. I'm talking to the two men who were with me at the Snow for at least some of the time. But really good. Blue cheese is really good with a Rutherglen Muscat or Topac. So there you go. I'm going to have a go at mushroom and toast now. Excuse me for a moment. I know, Fee, it was very bad of us. It was a complete oversight, but my liver is telling me that I had quite enough of everything else, that I didn't need PX in the Snow. So perhaps if we hadn't had Jägermeister that Peter shared with us, we could have had PX instead. So it was sometimes you just have to make choices in life. Can't drink everything all the time. That's a very grown-up thing to say, isn't it? Responsible service of alcohol. Cotty, really wish all restaurants offered a single cheese course rather than the 3 cheese selection that many do. Harder to make. Absolutely. I totally agree, Cotty. And it's something that we do here at Moorooduc. And I think there was a little bit of resistance from the kitchen to start with because there's so much pressure to, when you do a cheese course, to make it a platter of cheeses or a selection of cheeses so that everyone gets something they like. But particularly when I'm trying to match a wine to a course, and usually we do a cheese course here at Moorooduc because we've got another bracket of wine that we want to serve and it doesn't go with dessert, then it's like, okay, we're going to have a Pinot Noir course with a Pinot Noir friendly cheese. We're going to have a Chardonnay course or a Pinot Gris course with Pinot Gris or Chardonnay friendly cheese. And choosing one cheese to go with the wine is really easy. But if you've chosen the wine first, it makes it easier to just say, let's just do one cheese because this is the cheese that goes best with these wines. But yeah, I think, Cotty, some restaurants are getting it. But I agree. I go to enough wine dinners where we get 3 cheeses and it's like, one of these works well with it. So Jaeger bombs. We didn't do Jaeger bombs, Rita, but we maybe did Jaeger shooters at one stage of the Monday night party celebration. Pedro Jimenez, Sonia, is the name that I gave to PX, is short for Pedro Jimenez. It's the name of the best sweet sherry in the world from Spain. Pedro Jimenez is actually the name of the grape variety, but in Spain, in Jerez and surrounds, they make it into a very sweet black fortified wine by getting the grapes. They're white grapes. They get them very ripe on the vine. They cut the cordons and let them dehydrate, so you get raisining on the vine, and then they turn it into a really sweet fortified wine by stopping the fermentation early. So there's lots of natural sugar left in the grape juice. They throw spirit into it to about 20%, which kills all the yeast, so we can't have any more fermentation. So it's a sweet, grapey, juicy, flavoured, fortified wine at 20% alcohol that they then age for a minimum of 20 years in a complicated system of barrels. It's very, very delicious. It's inexpensive. You can buy a really good bottle of PX for $20-$30 retail. So I highly recommend when you go to a good wine shop in Melbourne. I know that they stock some good PX at the Prince Wine Store, also at Armadale Cellars will have it, and Peter, what's the wine shop in Carlton? Somebody help me. No, it's Rathdown Cellars. Rathdown Street Cellars. Rathdown Cellars. Mario, hi if you're watching. Mario did vintage with us this year and a few years ago. Rathdown Cellars have been like the bastion of sherry, both Spanish and the Australian versions of fortified, for as long as I can remember, and they will give you a really great selection of fortifieds in Victoria. I'm not so sure about Sydney, but I can do some work if anyone. Craig would probably be able to tell us where. Okay, Craig won a T-shirt in New Orleans. No memories of that night. Cannot smell that stuff anymore. Oh dear. Hang on. What's Nareem said? Come on, down. Wine is therapy for grown-ups. Fiona said it. Okay. This is not a therapy group for grown-ups. Sorry, Nareem. It is a little bit, but it's also fun, right? And it's also a nice excuse to have a glass of wine together. Kay visited Bangor Vineyard Shed in 2022. They served a full charcuterie with pickles, olives, salami, and completely destroyed any of the tasting wines. Yes. Why are we talking about that? That's a good point. Craig did 5 shots of Jaeger in a row in the 90s to win a T-shirt in New Orleans. Have you still got the T-shirt though, Craig? That's what I want to know, because it might be a bit sad, but I bet it was awesome. Bangor is. I think people forget about how to show off their wines the best, and they worry about people tasting wine without having some food. And then they sort of go, here's a platter. It's one of the things that Mum and I have talked about. And when we do sort of private wine tastings, or when we're talking about in cellar door, people are like, oh, why don't you do a cheese platter? It's like, no, because a whole lot of cheeses don't actually go well with wine. We've done the tasting together, you guys and me, tasting wine on apple and tasting wine on cheese. We'll have to do it again soon. Yeah, cheese kind of softens the taste of wine, and so I think finding the exact right cheese match to the exact right wine is important. And cheese platters might be good for filling up your tummy, and it might help to sell some wine if your wine's not very good, but we think we can let our wine stand on its own 2 feet without cheese in the. Okay, Craig, Shell, your double black stollies. I don't know. I feel like I should know what that is. Stolichnia vodka. I can't drink vodka. Sorry. You've gone to a place where my brain doesn't go, Shell. Craig, very sad. Connie, therapy session for grown-ups with a couple of exceptions. Yeah, indeed. David just did the dishes to lift the tone. Oh, thank you very much, David. That's very well done. PX, more famous these days for providing whiskey casks. That's right. A lot of whiskey producers like to use PX sherry casks when they've finished with to age their whiskey in them. It gives it a bit more richness and sweetness and colour. Zach and Jack, that's such a sweet thing to say. If I could only drink one wine from now on, this is a serious contender. It's looking better and better in the glass, isn't it? Which makes me retract my comment from earlier, Craig, and say, yes, definitely this wine has got further to go. Because as it sits in the glass, it seems to open up and get better. Delicious. We are not on vodka now. You might be on vodka now, Kay. I will never be on vodka. I know we're talking about it, but no, I'm not going there. Can't do it. I thought you were talking about Black Sambuca for a little while there, which in the 1990s at university on ski trips was quite popular. The old Black Sambuca shots, and I don't really think I'd want to have one of them now. But anyway, let's talk about this wine now. David bought a Tassie Woobs Harbour whiskey in PX casks. Amazing. So whiskey is one of those things. We do the cocktails every now and again with some whiskey, but I have discovered as I'm aging, my body doesn't like whiskey. My palate still does, but it gives me a nasty headache at about 3 o'clock in the morning if I have anything more than a wee dram of whiskey. If I have a glass of wine and a wee dram of whiskey, I get a pounding headache at 3 o'clock in the morning. If I just have my glass of wine or even 2 glasses of wine, I don't get it. So I think my body doesn't want me to have whiskey. David's body is 54% whiskey. Excellent. We're now deep. It absolutely, Craig, it's not just forest floor anymore. There's more kind of green, sappy, leafy, mossy, mushroomy, wild kind of smells in this wine. As it opens up, there's more sort of wild berry, kind of blackberry, as well as raspberry and strawberry. Absolutely gorgeous. A little bit of wild forest currants in there as well. There's a lot more red fruit coming up and black fruit as well as. It's so delicious. So I hope that it's still cracking on for you and doing well. Bigfoot's coming to view. Yeah, there's just a little feral kind of animal kind of smell, which is quite attractive to this wine. It's Tallulah, is it? Oh, no, she's not here. She's gone somewhere else. No, there's a nice kind of earthy, animal-y, kind of pheromone-y kind of smell about this wine, which is why I think we're thinking it's so delicious, sort of sexy, musky, delicious. So glad to hear. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was really lovely to share it with you. I'm going to love you and leave you now. But before I go, we have a new box to start next week. We're not having a break because I'm going overseas in September and we're trying to fit in as many tastings as we can before that happens. So box 4, is that correct, Peter? Yes. Box 4. If you've subscribed, we're pushing all the subscriptions forward. So if you haven't heard from us, then you probably will, or you probably fall into the time frame that is appropriate. But some of you your subscription's a little bit behind our time frame, so we might just push you forward. But if you haven't already got it, you'll be getting box 4 very soon. If you haven't subscribed and you still don't want to subscribe, but you want to taste the wines with us, then order it. I have a feeling that for those of you in Melbourne, Pete will probably be doing deliveries on Wednesday again because we'll have quite a few to go out. So get your order in early because if the schedule gets too busy, he might just crack it and go and cry in a corner. So yes, get it all sorted. Where am I going, Cotty? I'm going to London for wine selling, and we're going to do a Drinks with Kate from London. I can't remember what the first wine is for next week's box, so I'll send you an email on Monday to remind you. Craig, it's all about the journey today. Absolutely. I'm glad we all turned up today for this wine. It's been delicious. Box 4 is crazy great. I agree, David. David's advocating buying 2 boxes, which I fully endorse. It's always nice to have some extra Moorooduc Estate wine in case you're feeling thirsty one of these days, or in case you have friends. Sonia will be in the sky next week. Oh, where are you going, Sonia? Have a good flight next Thursday. Hope to see you again soon. It's been lovely. Excellent date night, Shell. Love sharing date night with you and Andrew. It's always special. Mwah. Love you all. See you soon. Peter, if you're delivering on Wednesday, Fee says you can drop it to her work in Frankston. We'll talk to you about that. That sounds good. All right, good, excellent. Love you all. Take care and see you next week. Bye.